Hello everybody, welcome to Toyah at Home. I hope you've had a good week. Our lives are just changing so quickly. No doubt yours are too. Are you busier than ever?
Every day it's as if I'm on tour but from home.
Well, the thing is, we're getting so much product ready for re-release. We've got Kneeling at the Shrine, I've got Sheep Farming in Barnet, and I'm now getting ready for Blue Meaning and Anthem. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm very excited, little lovey, that your music is alive today just as it was when it came into the world.
Well, I'd actually say it's in better hands now than it has been for the last 40 years. So it really is all happening. So I'll let you go off to the gym. He's avoiding me kissing him.
Oh, look what happened. Look what happens. See this?
See you later.
Sweet lips, welcome.
Woo! So I've been in the studio with Simon Darlow and it's going phenomenally well. We are just so excited to be back together writing again. So in celebration of that, I thought we would open today with a classic off the Crimson Queen, which is Lesser God. And if you've not heard this, enjoy, because it rocks. Yeah! I won't cry and I won't bleed. I won't let you see what you've done to me. I won't break or reinstate. I won't fake for the sake of peace. Ooh, this is ecstasy. Bring it on and challenge me. Ooh, this is obscene. Are you doing it just for me? I'm made by lesser God because I believe in love. I'm made by lesser God, come from the heavens above. You say you can't feel love, can't trust the affection of. You can't hate till you relate, causing pain in a rain of fates. Oh, this is ecstasy. Bring it on and challenge me. Ooh, this is the scene. Are you doing it just for me? Am I made by lesser God because I believe in love? Am I made by lesser God, come from the heavens above? Am I made by lesser God because I believe in love? Ooh, 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 ooh. You say you can't feel love. Ooh, this is ecstasy. Bring it on and challenge me. Ooh, this is a scene. Are you doing it just for me? Am I made by lesser God because I believe in love? Am I made by lesser God, come from the heavens above? Am I made by lesser God because I believe in life? Am I made by lesser was Lesser God off the album In the Court of the Crimson Queen, written by both myself and my fabulous songwriting partner Simon Darlow. So it's been an incredible week. I've been down in Worthing shooting a TV programme with Mike Stock of Stock, Aitken and Waterman, and it's a kind of revisit to Top of the Pops. There was me, Steve Harley, there was Bucks Fizz, Steps, there saw Cheryl Baker, which was absolutely lovely. A lot of people, Jason Donovan, are all on this new programme, which will be announced soon. But it was so lovely. That was my first real kind of out of lockdown music job. So great to just get out the house. Also a little nerve-wracking as well. And of course, Simon Darlow and I are getting the next album ready, and we are just so happy and so excited to be working together again. And you know, it's an interesting time. There's no reason not to be creative and to just keep focusing on the positive things in life and keeping community safe, friendships safe, and honouring our neighbours and all of that. It's a phenomenally powerful time. But your questions, now Jackie Andrews, you asked me, what do we do for romantic nights? Well, we kind of, most evenings in lockdown, obviously, we have been discovering box sets. And I'm just channeling my favourite actress. Robert, what was the actress's name, please?
Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara in Schitt's Creek. So I thought, because you know, she was winning all those awards this week, I would just channel her because she is so phenomenal in that series. So anyway, Jackie, in answer to your question, we have been watching a lot of movies on our date nights. We tend to have date lunches. On a Monday, we get out the house and we go to a beautiful restaurant. We meet up with Simon Darlow or other friends in the area because we've been able to sit outside. You also ask, where do I like to go on holiday? Well, this is a huge question. My last real sitting on a beach holiday was in 2001 when I went to the Maldives for a week and I absolutely loved it. Can I fit that in again? No. My money goes on albums and artwork and stuff like that. I just don't have that kind of disposable income to pay for those kind of holidays. And then I used to go to France, to my beautiful apartment in Menton. I don't go there anymore. I'm selling it. My neighbours, sadly, during Brexit and COVID, became very, very unfriendly, and we've put it down to racism, which, you know, breaks my heart a little bit, but it's just time to move on. So I'm selling there and I will never be going back. So I'm probably going to be looking for a new place of sanctuary where I can go, because I always love somewhere to go to be alone, where I can focus on my writing. And I have beautiful friends in Spain, beautiful friends in Mallorca. So I might just, once COVID is over, get a little bolt hole where I can just go and focus on the writing and the painting. So thank you very much for that. Jackie, you also asked, there's 3 questions here. Any rituals you do to stay sane? Oh gosh, that's so interesting. I'm really lucky that we live on the River Avon, and just watching the wildlife and listening to the trees and the wind and how the leaves make this really very specific form of language when they communicate with the wind. I mean, you know, it is a language. The wind speaks to us. And for me, that is probably the sanest I am when I'm just sitting at the river edge and the wind is just hitting those leaves. And then there's the bird song, which is utterly unique. And all of that just puts everything in perspective. It's absolutely beautiful. So I think that is part of my ritual in lockdown, is to make sure I do not forget about nature and how powerful it is. So Jackie, thank you for those 3 questions. Brian Marsh, you very kindly asked that since the loss of Bill and working on the humans, will I create more work like that, more experimental work, because you obviously really, really like it? Well, the answer is yes. There's a lot of collaborations to have. Whether it will be that experimental, I don't know. What was really unique about the Humans was Bill's ability to create really pristine sound. I think he got the best out of me vocally. He got the best sound-wise out of me vocally. As a lyricist, he was quite demanding and determined that nothing would slip through my fingers that was cliched, even though I love to use cliche as a point of reference. So there will be more experimental stuff. And in lockdown, I've created a wonderful working relationship with Nigel Clark of Dodgy, who literally lives 6 doors down. We want to write together, and Nigel has a passion for punk. So let's see what happens. At the moment, I am totally dedicated to writing with Simon Darlow and getting that project ready for April next year. I've been writing with our wonderful, wonderful bass player, Mike Nichols. We've come up with 8 songs in lockdown, and I want that to be a lockdown album. And we've just put that on hold while Simon and I get the next album done. The thing about lockdown is it leaves so much room for creativity, and it has been absolutely extraordinary in that way. So Brian, thank you so much for that question. I take it on board, and I so appreciate that you have loved the Humans. It means the world to me. And I'm getting so much information back from all over the world, people saying thank you for this. They've discovered it for the first time since the Humans Noise in Your Head box set was released on the 3rd of July. And they're saying, we've just discovered this and it's incredible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Frank, Nemo, you asked, well, you say hello from Paris in France. Oh, how beautiful, how romantic. So Frank, your question is, I seem to be enjoying the success of the Humans box set. That's an understatement because it means the world to me. I believed in it when it started in 2007. We've had some extraordinary dishonest and very personally nasty reviews, especially in some of the English press, but we've had one champion in the Financial Times who has absolutely championed this project from the beginning, and I'm just so grateful for everyone who has been kind and receptive to it. So anyway, Frank, you asked, do you plan to record a 4th Humans album without Bill? Well, I think I've just answered that in a way. Will I do a 4th Humans album? I think that will present itself to me. It's as simple as that. The Humans happened because Robert Fripp was asked to play for the President of Estonia on the President's birthday, and he couldn't do it. So I said I'd put a band together called the Humans to do that. So in a way, the outside world presented that opportunity to me, and I trust the same will happen again. So say someone remarkable with a remarkably different taste that is just a tangent from who Toyah is, and they say, do you want to do a project? That could be Humans 4. So let's see what happens. My computer, the desktop, has hundreds of files on it of books, short stories, children's stories, album ideas. So I'm never short of ideas. It's the focus and the intention and the calling of the present time that makes me go back to a project and say, that is the time for this project. So thank you so much, Frank, from Paris. Big love to Paris. Stay safe. That was a lovely, lovely question. Sally Roydhouse, you asked a really interesting question. Firstly, you live on the Isle of Skye. Have I ever been there? Yes, with Chris Packham. I did a documentary about eagles there in about 1989, and it was beautiful. We had the most fantastic week there. So thank you for that, Sally. But you also asked, your question is whether I've ever crossed paths with David Lynch. Well, the answer to that is no, because you feel we'd be a perfect match. Well, thank you. I would love to play one of his characters. His films are incredible. I mean, of course, Twin Peaks was just absolutely shaping towards the end of the 80s in its musical content and its character content. And the fact that it was unfathomable and unsolvable just made it so exciting. But I think My favourite piece of work by David Lynch is Mulholland Drive. And he's one of the first people to kind of lay bare the bones of Hollywood. And I think it's a fabulous, fabulous film with great characters, with that wonderful Lynch strangeness, which I think everyone adores. So that would be my pick for my favourite David Lynch ever. Joe Stratton, you say, I was going through all my posters, fan club letters and cuttings from the 1980s. Wow, there must have been a lot, Joe. I found these 12 questions you answered age 25. Would any of them still be true today? I have the 12 questions here. So this is really, really intriguing. Question 1, this is what I answered. Best group, Police. Well, they're definitely one of the best groups, even today. Best female singer, Carmel from Manchester. Definitely. As well as Annie Lennox. Well, obviously, world class. Number 3, best male singer, Bowie. Yeah, absolutely, as always. Best album, Let's Dance. I think I would now choose Man Who Sold the World. Well, okay, there's 3. Man Who Sold the World, Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, and Hunky Dory. I really can't choose between all those 3 because they are absolute classics. Number 5, best single, Is There Something I Should Know? Oh my God, who is that by? Is There Something I Should Know? Is that Duran Duran? I can't even remember who that's by, and I can't read my writing. Number 6, best TV programme, The Young Ones. Well, today, what would the best TV programme be today? For me, Strange Times, probably. Best radio show, Peter Powell, a friend of mine, wonderful DJ, wonderful inclusive DJ. He played so much good pop and rock back then. I think best radio show today for me would be Woman's Hour, because that shows my age, but it's a really diverse show. Best video, Police Synchronicity. Okay, what would be my best video today? It might be Peter Gabriel and Sledgehammer, which I think was a groundbreaking video. Twits of the Year, and I've answered any pseudo music critic. Wasn't fond of them then, not sure I'm pretty fond of them now. Event of the Year, Midsummer Night's Tube. So that must be the TV programme, The Tube. What would I answer today? Best TV show of the year or event of the year? I think it would be anything raising money for the NHS, using the TV channels to maximise it. That and Bake Off with its new lineup, which is absolutely stunning. Most promising act of 1984, Aztec Camera. Isn't that lovely? I think, back then I really meant that. Today, best act today? Well, I think a lot of acts have broken, but I'm very, very fond of Aurora and Bring Me the Horizon. Both of those acts, for me, are mind-blowing. Most fanciable human being, Bowie. Yeah, that hasn't changed at all. Not changed at all. So, Joe, thank you so much for that trip down memory lane. Brilliant. So, we have a question from the smutty professor, and the question is not smutty at all. You say, what was the Helium song all about lyrically? So this is another trip down memory lane, Mr. Smutty Professor, and thank you for that. Well, this took place very late at night, and I think we were in the Marquee Studios. The composers are myself and Pete Bush. And I remember going into the studio with the producers, who was Steve James and Keith Hale, and I think we were on Blue Meaning at this point, and we were playing around with a canister of helium. Do not do this at home, because it is actually really, really dangerous. And I was breathing in helium for way too long, and we were having lots of fun. It was about 1 a.m, and we were being utterly stupid. So the lyrics: floating down the Orinoco on a breeze from Acapulco, soft shoes shuffle, reflections bend the wind, nature's toys, convex talking, outer space is nice to walk in. Well, I think you can pretty well guess, Smutty Professor, that we were playing with the psychedelia I missed, my generation missed with the 60s. Let's put it that way. Spacewalking, the ins and out of convex talking, spacewalking, conversing on convex talking. So it's about opening the doors of perception. I was heavily into William Burroughs then. I don't think I was on anything strange that night other than helium. But it's about just altering reality, which is something that has always been a big question for me, is what is reality and who has the right to create reality? Because I think reality is, well, it's both subjective and it's made objective. And I think we have a right to bend those rules. And Helium's song is probably playing on that right, that we should all create our own reality. I think that's the next thing that's coming, and it's the beauty of the computer age and the kind of web age, is we can create our own realities. And Helium Song was probably a romantic homage to that idea. So Smutty Professor, thank you very much for that question. Simon McCrindle, you ask, what's the story behind the stone horse in our garden? It was made by Althea Wynne. And when I first met Althea Wynne, I was filming her for a TV programme and I fell in love with her sculpture. And her daughter was Ruth Dresman, the glassmaker. The most phenomenal family, and they all became great, great friends. And I fell in love with this stone horse. It was £5,000 in the late 80s, which was a sum of money I couldn't afford. And my husband was aware that I loved this piece, and I think it was Christmas 1991, it might have been 1990. My husband said, let's go for a walk in the garden, Christmas Day. And I thought, it's really cold, I don't want to go for a walk in the garden. And we were living in Salisbury at this time, so we wrapped up warmly, we went out into the garden, we walked round the garden, and there was the stone horse, and it was my Christmas present. And we have loved and cherished it since. It's a phenomenal piece. Now, Althea came here, where we live in Worcestershire, to set all her sculptures up again when we moved from Salisbury. And this is quite a remarkable story. Bill was staying with us, Bill Reeflin, and I think it was about 2010. And one night we got a knock at the door and about 8 policemen ran through the house and into the garden. It was 10 at night. And they said, get Toyah and lock her in a room. Something is happening. And it wasn't that dramatic. I wasn't in danger, but 2 very drunk kids who came over the garden wall with scaffold poles, and they were out of their heads, and they smashed every statue in the garden. I mean, tens of thousands of pounds worth of damage. And a hotel owner not next door saw this happen and called the police. So what had happened to Althea just before this event was she and her husband pulled out in their car, oh God, on the 303, and were instantly killed by a truck. Excuse me. So to see her statues smashed up in this way, my husband said to the police he wanted to meet the offenders. And he met them face to face. They were teenagers. And he told them this story, that we're not rich show-offs, and we love art, we love our garden, and we work to create beauty in our lives. And Althea had lost her life in this way, and they destroyed the memory of her by doing this. So my husband said this to them face to face. And we passionately look after these statues. We're not around forever. These will be passed on to someone else. So that is the story behind those statues, and we're very, very protective of them. Althea was a huge friend and a huge support to us. And oh boy, every time I look at those statues, and they've now been repaired, our brilliant residential builder repaired them beautifully, so we can still live with them. So I'm sorry that's a heavy story, but I think people need to know that art is precious. It's not all about showing off and being pretentious. This was Althea's life work, and she was absolutely brilliant. So thank you for that question. And I'm sorry I got emotional. John Willcox, great to hear from you from the USA. Does expectation ever change creativity? Yes, and I think expectation can be quite damaging on creativity. I think creativity should be spontaneous and have a free-flowing form. And I think expectation of others on your creativity can be quite a binding commitment. Your own expectation can, I think, trip you up. So I think sometimes it's very important to connect with creativity without expectation. Just let it flow, see what comes. So thank you. That's a really, really good and weighty question. Now, Paul Murray, I don't know if you're psychic or you've been listening into conversations over my phone, but you say you look forward to the next album. If you had a choice of 4 producers and they wanted to work with you, that's the key thing. I'm interested to know which one I would choose. 1, Brian Eno. Great friend. I just don't think he'd want to work with someone like me who is in the popular celebrity spectrum, but I adore his work. Nile Rodgers, yes, 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 yes. And we were talking about him the other day. Trevor Horn, a friend. I work with him a lot. I adore him. He's a wicked, wicked man with a great sense of humour. Yes, yes, yes. Tony Visconti, talking about him 2 days ago. Yes, yes, yes. So, Paul, you ask which would I work with? I want to work with them all. I actually think it's got to be between Trevor Horn and Tony Visconti because of the way I write and the way I sing. But we are going to invite Nile Rodgers to mix something. I think Visconti could be right for the way Simon Darlow and I write, but I cannot commit to this because all 4, I would run away with and marry tomorrow. Andrea Richardson, you very kindly asked me if I'm still in touch with all the cast of Quadrophenia. Well, yes, I am. Gary Shale is just phenomenal. Gary is someone who I turn to if I need advice or I just want to talk to somebody, and he is very much someone who is the glue that keeps us all together. He's super creative. He's been sending me lots of music he's been writing, and it's absolutely brilliant. Phil Daniels, we often are in touch, you know, kind of via email and stuff like that. But Leslie Ash, absolutely. Leslie and I share an agent, so we're in touch a lot. And our agent, you know, kind of is doing ideas that we can do together and all that potential stuff of making TV programs together. Leslie has this phenomenal website, which is all about new books and literature, which is her passion. We love her dearly because she is like a delicate little flower, and I'm laughing because I'm completely the opposite. I'm like the warhorse, and she's a delicate little flower. So we are often in touch and catch up. I tell you, another person from Quadrophenia who is the glue that holds us together is Trevor Lard, who is, you know, just the most gorgeous, gorgeous, talented man. And he's always getting us together to do projects and stuff. And of course, at some point, the film To Be Someone, which we are all in bar Phil Daniels, is coming out anytime soon. It's finished. I heard it was due out in September and then it went quiet again. So ears to the ground on that one, because I think it's going to be really, really good fun to see us all together again. So, ladies and gentlemen, your families who are watching this, you are our community and we really care about you. We are still in strange times. I'm here to answer your questions. I really want this communication to stay open while we are trying to find the vaccine. I am an artist. I miss singing. I miss acting. I miss everything. But thank goodness I have this time to be creative. And in the meantime, I care about you loads. So get your questions in and let's see if I can answer them. We're going to go out on a really brilliant performance by the Toyah Band of All in a Rage at the O2 Islington. This was written in 1984 and my goodness, the lyrics are so relevant today. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Stay safe and bye from Toyah.